So I've been working on a few projects recently, and one of them happens to be a 2-year plus review of the Fujifilm x100v. It's been a while since I've talked about this camera, probably because I've made already so many videos about this camera, but I wanted to give some long-term thoughts. And so I'm not going to be talking about things that I've talked about before. I'm just going to highlight some features about the camera that I really like and what I think about its long-term use. But as I was doing so, I decided to take a quick check on eBay and see how much the camera was worth now. And as you guys know, this camera was released at $13.99, I believe it was, as a market price. But after looking at other websites and other retailers that sell the X100V, the camera is actually bumped up to a new price of brand new $2,000 for the Fujifilm x100V. And that's pretty insane for me. I didn't know what to think about it at first because I was like, there's no way this camera just went up $600 in the past 2 years. And so I kind of tried to do some digging and see why the price was so high. And I think based on what I've seen and read in forums, I'm guessing the x100V is back ordered from Fujifilm. And so there's not a lot of stock anywhere really, and so the people who do have the x100V are trying to sell it at a really high price, and I think people are willing to buy it at that high of a price, which is the reason why they're selling it at that high of a price. But for a camera like this to go up in value, especially since it's still recent and it's still new since its release, it's pretty it kind of blows my mind a little bit. Usually the only cameras that go up in value are novelty cameras or things like Leicas or Hasselblads or old cameras and stuff like that. You know, but for such a new camera like this to go up in value shows kind of two things. One, it shows that Fuji wasn't really prepared for how much of these cameras they would have really needed to make, or maybe they did that intentionally, I don't know. Or two, the demand for this camera is really high because we already knew this camera was quite the popular camera upon its release and the year of its release. For this camera to be so highly sought after, like used versions of this camera are going for as much as $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 on eBay. And that's pretty crazy because that's more expensive than a new version of this camera would have been. For the X100V to be worth more than cameras like the Fujifilm X-T4 and X Pro 3, which are supposed to be higher products on Fujifilm's lineup, I think says a lot about the camera. This camera is not only sought after by consumers, but also prosumers and other professionals of the like. A lot of people like and see the use of this camera because it combines what Fujifilm has been trying to do, I think, for the longest time, which was providing a high quality camera to be really useful in everyday scenarios and have a high enough quality to be desirable by everyday people and also people who want to take photography more and more seriously. I just think it's crazy. I wanted to make a video on it because I think if the Fujifilm X100V was released at a $2,000 price point 2 years ago when it came out, I don't think I would have had this camera or would have been willing to buy this camera at that price point. And even now, I probably wouldn't buy it. Even though it is my favorite camera, it does everything for me. It's pretty much the perfect camera for the type of photography I like to do. I still don't know if I would chuck $2,000 for this camera. It's just way up there. But for the people who are willing to, that's cool as well, I guess, right? So that pretty much sums up this video. I am working on a full 2-year plus video on the X100V, so look forward to that. That should be coming out in the next few weeks or so whenever I kind of finish it. I kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts as well. Do you guys think this camera is worth $2,000? Would you pay $2,000 for it? Do you think the price is justified, etc, etc? Yeah, thanks for watching guys. I'll see you later. Peace.